What advice do you give to them to keep the head down and keep pushing forward?
No, great question. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what young people
No.
do. When I was that age, I was different. I became a father in my early 20s. I got married in my early, I did everything the wrong way around in my life, I think, in my personal life. But, you know, so I had different responsibilities. But I totally get young people. I get why they do that. And I don't hold that against them, by the way. Good for you. That's how you spend your weekends. But look, I don't know anybody who's really got into sales thinking this is something I've dreamed of my whole life. Most SDRs get into sales as a kind of something they're doing along the way to find their dream. It's not their dream to work in sales. It's not a dream for most people to work in sales. And they're looking at it as a quick fix to get what they want in the real world. And it doesn't quite work like that. And my advice to any SDR is look at sales as a profession. Don't try to say, I'll be in this job for 6 months to 2 years, get my commission and leave. You won't succeed that way. You've got to look at it as a profession. So first of all, you've got to study it by reading books, listen to audibles. If you're young, a lot of young people don't read books, but at least listen to podcasts. They're free. There's no excuse. There's so many great podcasts out there. Watch YouTube videos. You know, everybody works in sales on YouTube. There's 50 videos. They're a minute each. Watch Victor Antonio's videos. You know, there's so many amazing podcasts on YouTube as videos. It's all free. So there's no excuse not to be learning. And don't tell me you're too busy to learn, because that's just an excuse. Everybody has half an hour a day they can spend less liking posts on Facebook and actually learning, okay? And second of all, it's very important to understand sales is a multi-platform business. So a lot of SDRs are obsessed with sending out emails. And when they get on the phone, they're very nervous. And guess what? Sales is not sending out emails. Sales is picking up the phone. Sales is learning how to leverage LinkedIn effectively. Sales is writing fantastic content on LinkedIn. Sales is going to networking events, or nowadays virtual networking events. This is what sales is about. Sales is actually about seeing your clients' content on LinkedIn, liking it, commenting on it, sharing it, and then saying to the client, just to let you know I've liked, shared, and commented on your content. I thought it was brilliant. That is something I can guarantee you most SDRs aren't doing. They're clicking like, which by the way is pretty meaningless, but you got to comment, you got to share. There's so many things. Oh, if you imagine the circle, it's emails, it's phones, it's marketing from your marketing team, it's, you know, LinkedIn. There's so many things you should be doing, and you have to learn all these skills as an SDR. Now, if you're a manager managing a young team, saying to them, get on the phone doesn't work, because they hate the phone, they don't use the phone, they don't call their friends like my generation does, they text their friends or WhatsApp their friends. And if you say to them, get on the phone, it's not going to work. And if you say to them, get on the phone and you're fired, it's not going to work. I've worked in these offices, I've trained these people. And so what I do is I have a training session for half an hour with SDRs. And I'm like, okay, tell me why you hit the phone. And they all tell me, we don't want to bother people, we don't want to disturb. Just do a flip chart, whiteboard training session. That's it. And they tell me all the things they hate about the phone. Because you have to acknowledge the fear. You can't ignore it. And after they've done that, Andy, then I say, okay, why is the phone important? And they give me a list. And they struggle with this second list, but they give me a list. And I say, okay, so you don't like picking up the phone, you don't want to bother people, and let's look at the reason why the phone's important. It saves you time. People buy people. You can judge tone quicker. You can get deals faster. Now, looking at these two, what do you think is better for you? And in most cases, they will go, picking up the phone. I said, great, okay, so let's have a few call sessions here. So you then train them on calling people, but then after that, you have to have role plays with them in a safe environment. So I'll be at the front of the stage, I'll be the client, and each rep comes up individually and has to sell to me in front of their peers. But you have to create a safe environment where they can make mistakes and feel comfortable making mistakes. And they all do it. And the first few are kind of awkward, and after a while it's quite fun. But afterwards, they're all pumped up and they're exhilarated, okay? And then once they do that, you've got to make sure they're kept accountable, because 50% of what you learn in sales training, you forget the next day. 95% you forget in a week. So I work with management to make sure that every week the boss is sitting down with the staff saying, okay, what did you learn? What are you making improvements on? What are you getting better at? The management, believe it or not, are just as responsible as the SDRs in keeping them accountable, because that accountability, which is going to make them go further.